Listen carefully. Lock the door. Turn off whatever distraction Netflix is feeding you tonight, because what just happened in 60 seconds. Exactly 60 seconds. The clock struck 6. The CME Globex servers came online, and in the time it takes you to blink, breathe, check your phone for a headline from CNBC declaring silver dead, the number 67 times NAC 69's the paper price Wall Street spent all of Friday manufacturing disappeared. Not corrected, not adjusted, not repriced, erased. Like it never existed. Like someone reached into the matching engine and deleted reality itself. Because that's exactly what just happened. Reality showed up tonight. And reality doesn't care about your Bloomberg terminal. It doesn't care about CNBC banners. It doesn't care about Sunday lunch with Jamie Dimon. Reality is this. 790 tons of physical silver are gone. Not moved, gone. Drained out of Western vaults. As the Shanghai Gold Exchange and state capital east of Suez pulled supply for 2 straight months, while you were told to buy treasuries. I'm shaking, not from fear, but because this is the moment the system stops pretending. I'm shaking because I told you this was coming back in January, word for word. I told you the price on your screen was an illusion. I told you that when physical silver was drained to a critical point, the CME Group Open would not be a normal session. It would be a massacre. And right now, as I'm recording this, that massacre is unfolding in real time. The spread has blown out to levels I have never seen on a Sunday Open. Not widened, broken. The algorithms aren't trading anymore, they're searching. Desperately scanning for sellers at prices that no longer exist, because the metal behind those contracts is gone. This is not a rally. This is not a bounce. This is the moment the paper lie dies. And if you sold on Friday because someone in a suit on CNBC told you the move was over, I'm sorry, I really am. Because what you just witnessed wasn't a correction, it was one of the most sophisticated financial extractions in modern market history. And tonight, I'm going to walk you through it, second by second, tick by tick. Exactly how it was done, and why the first 60 seconds of this session just rewrote the rules of the silver market forever. Let me show you the crime scene. Listen carefully. I'm going to walk you through this like a detective, because this is a financial crime scene. The victim, the shorts, the weapon, physical reality, and the escape vehicle, a tidal wave of Eastern capital hitting an empty Western vault at midnight. Every quarter, like clockwork, the banks run the same play, flood the market with naked shorts before options expiry. Not backed by metal. Not backed by inventory. Backed only by one assumption, that you panic and sell. And on Friday, it worked. They smashed silver from 71.40 to 69 cents in a single session. Nearly 6%. The media echoed it. The rally is over. Millions believed it. Some sold at the worst possible moment. But that drop wasn't a market event. It was an extraction, designed, programmed, executed. High-frequency systems shaking the tree, collecting the fruit and walking away thinking they'd won. They forgot one thing. The market reopens Sunday, and 790 tons of silver are gone. They forgot Shanghai doesn't sleep. The East is awake. And that arrogance, that blind spot, is why $67 vanished faster than a cup of coffee pours. This is not financial advice. This is survival. Add one more piece to the puzzle. Shanghai Gold Exchange, 790 tons. That's 25.4 million ounces. Now compare that to COMEX registered inventory, 28.1 million ounces. Do the math. What's left? 2.7 million ounces. Backing a market representing over 800 million ounces on paper. That's roughly 296 to 1. Let that sink in. That's not a market. That's a leveraged illusion. Now go back to 6 p.m. Servers come online. Matching engine activates. And then it hits. A wall of buy orders from the East. Not retail, not speculation. Sovereign scale capital, China, Singapore, Hong Kong, entities that already drained the physical supply. The system searches for sellers at $67, none, $68, gone 69 cents, consumed instantly. By $71, $72, we're in a liquidity vacuum. No negotiation. No price discovery. Just force. Price doesn't move, it teleports. A $7 gap where liquidity should exist, but doesn't. This is the liquidity vacuum protocol, not a glitch, not random. Mathematical inevitability. When no sellers exist, price sweeps upward until it finds one. And every short celebrating Friday. Now staring at margin calls, faster than they can dial their broker. The same bar of silver is now backing 3, sometimes 4 different financial claims. It works perfectly until someone asks for delivery, because there's only one bar. And for the last 2 months, the Shanghai Gold Exchange has been saying exactly that. Deliver the metal, 790 tons. And just like that, the rehypothecation chain, leveraged 10x, 20x, even 50x begins to fracture. Institutions thought they owned silver. What they actually held was paper. A receipt from metal already on a ship heading east. That's why there are no sellers tonight. The market makers don't have the metal. Paper cannot settle a futures contract. Paper cannot power a solar factory. Paper does not exist in the real economy. And tonight, paper is being repriced to zero. We've seen this before. 1980, the Nelson Bunker Hunt squeeze. Prices exploded before rules were changed. 2008, silver fell to $9, but physical traded at $15 and 2020 paper said $12. Reality was $24, same pattern, same fracture. Paper price versus real price. And tonight, that gap is the difference between illusion and truth. The first 60 seconds were just the explosion. The shockwave is still moving. Let me show you how the chain reaction unfolds, because tonight is not just volatile, it's systemic. Every short position sits on margin. CME Group sets the rules, roughly $19,800 per contract. But when price moves against you, losses hit in real time. Drop below maintenance and the margin call comes instantly. Now picture this, a fund short 1,000 contracts, 5 million ounces, price jumps from $67.69 to $74 in seconds. That's over $31 million gone in under a minute. If they can't wire capital, it's Sunday, the system liquidates them automatically. And how do you close a short? You buy. So the exchange itself starts buying into a market with no sellers. That buying pushes price higher, triggering more margin calls, forcing more buying. A self-feeding spiral. We're talking billions, 223 billions in losses across hedge funds and bullion banks in under 60 seconds. This is not a correction. This is a transfer. And the safety net, repo liquidity from the Federal Reserve. But there's a flaw. Collateral is treasuries, and treasuries are falling. Less collateral, less rescue. So the system buys time. But it cannot buy silver. Why now? Why this violent? The answer isn't speculation, it's policy. China has already told you the plan. They're building the largest solar manufacturing base in human history. By 2028, they aim to control 80% of global solar output. And silver? It's not optional. It's essential. Each panel needs silver. Scale that across millions, billions of units, and you're looking at 15,000 to 20,000 tons of demand in just 5 years. Let that sink in. This isn't trading. This is resource acquisition, and that's why the paper price is failing. Because paper is not a measure, it's a weapon. A psychological tool designed to separate you from real money. We saw it in 2020, the 12 on screen, $24 in reality. Those who understood made 300%. So, I want to hear from you. What did your screen show at 6 p.m.? What platform are you using? What's the real premium at your local dealer right now? That's the data that matters. The data Bloomberg won't show you. Because the first 60 seconds, that was just the blast. The shockwave is still coming. The system does have a safety net. It's called the repo facility. The Federal Reserve provides overnight liquidity to banks, instantly, through algorithmic bridges tied directly into the CME Group. In theory, it stops the collapse. In reality, it delays it, because repo needs collateral, and that collateral is treasuries, and right now, treasuries are falling, yields rising. Foreign buyers stepping back. The very assets banks rely on are losing value. So they request liquidity, post weaker collateral, and receive less cash than they need. The gap remains, liquidations continue, the domino effect survives. The algorithm buys them hours. Maybe a day, not salvation. Because salvation requires physical silver. And that silver, it's already on a ship to Shanghai. Now step back. This is no longer just a market event. This is geopolitical. China isn't speculating, they're executing a policy. Solar dominance. Industrial control, they need 15,000 to 20,000 tons of silver. That's a structural bid the paper market cannot fight. And while the West prices silver on screens, the East prices it in reality. Hong Kong opens in hours. The night session across Shanghai and Asia is already alive, and the pressure is building. This is not a normal night. If you're not plugged in right now, you're walking blind into one of the most volatile sessions in years. Subscribe. Turn on every notification. Everyone. Because I will be posting updates, community alerts, maybe even an emergency live stream if price action accelerates. You need to stay connected tonight. When New York wakes up, the world won't be the same. The media will call it a glitch, a flash crash, a technical error. It's not, it's truth breaking through. So what do? The same answer as always, hold physical, not ETFs, not futures, not paper promises, physical held by you. Because when the rehypothecation chain breaks, only what you can touch matters. Everything else is just a claim on metal already gone. Physical is sovereignty. No margin calls, no freezes. This isn't a game. This is a system being exposed. Wall Street can control the close. They've done it before. They'll do it again. But they can't control the open. They can't stop delivery. They can't create metal that doesn't exist. The close is the lie. The open is the truth. And tonight, truth hit hard. Shorts trapped. Margin calls spreading. Wealth transfer in motion. Stay alert. Accumulate. Trust nothing. Verify everything.